Okay, welcome back once again. Now, we all know what a Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES for short, looks like, but here are some Nintendo items you might not have seen. Starting off with the Virtual Boy, which Jukka is playing here. It was probably the worst business move by Nintendo ever. The idea was to create a three-dimensional gaming system that you could carry with you. And the Virtual Boy project was started for this. The end result was this rather bulky system that you couldn't really carry. Instead, you had to place it on the table using a stand, then stare into it and use the separate controller. It was three-dimensional. It was based on a complex system of mirrors that would break if you breathed it in the wrong direction. And also, there were a total of two colors, black and red. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was that if you used the system actually to play games, after a while you would develop a colossal headache due to the mirror system. If you were prone to epilepsy, then this would be the best way to get an epileptic seizure. Needless to say, this system was cancelled after a very short while. Then some other accessories we have here. This is the Nintendo scope. So once you get tired of a light gun, you can shoot with the bazooka, which you guys holding the wrong way actually, but never mind. This was an infrared based system, which actually can be seen to have influenced the Wii controller. This was very accurate and had a couple of fun games. On the table here we have the Famicom disk system. Now back in the early 80s, Nintendo thought that games cartridges were a bit expensive to manufacture, so they created the disk system, whereupon they would distribute games on these disks. And they were of a suitably non-standard format, and you would buy the disk system, which was basically a disk drive, put it on your Nintendo. This is not an actual Nintendo system, but it looks like one. But put it on top, then load the games from the discs. Well, the disk drive was rather fragile, didn't really work very well, and it was unreliable as well. So this was cancelled soon enough and never exported to Europe. In America, Nintendo created a controller for disabled people. So if you were unable to use your hands, for example, if you'd been paralyzed, you could play using the NES hands-free controller. You would take the stick and push it against your chin, then use it to control the game. The fire buttons were interesting because you would put a hose in this clip, then you would either suck on it or blow on it to create the A and B buttons. This is a very rare device, only a handful are in existence nowadays. And finally, here we have the Nintendo Entertainment System 2. So just to cut costs and to be able to sell the system cheaper, Nintendo of America redesigned the NES to this small form factor, which has the cartridge port on top. Also this game with a very nice dog bone style controller, which unfortunately we don't have here. But this is a wanted item for collectors because the cartridge port on this one works much better than the original Breadbox version. So this was also only released in the United States. And here we have, of course, the original Zappa. It sounds unbelievable, but one of these was recently used to rob a bank.